if I am relevant to you or if I'm giving you the relevance. So there were quite a few pivotal moments in that. Now I knew uni gave me that whole leadership, organizing, and all of those kind of understanding, and I've carried that on. Changed me as a version 2 of what I am right now. Actually, there are quite a few of those coming into the market at this point in time.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to this game changing episode of Random and Famous. I think I should say this episode is going to be bold, insightful, and unfiltered. So let's get started. Today's episode is different. We are meeting a person who is dynamic with so much passion and knowledge into the world of AI driven recruitment. He's a talent acquisition guru and a key leader in NH, RD, and Dubai chapter, a man who is reshaping the future of hiring. His list of achievements is nothing short of legendary. Advisory board member RL100, LinkedIn top global TA voice, top 50 Middle East HR influencers, and with an impressive career spanning across United Nations, AOL, IBM, MasterCard, D360, and KPMG. His expertise in talent, technology, and transformation is second to none. I am honored to introduce him, Javeed Khan. Javeed, thank you.
Tausif. Thank you for
so
having
much
me.
for coming here. You're very busy. Javeed, I said so many things. You're wearing so many hats.
I know.
Apart from that, the people who doesn't know about you, please explain what you do.
So, the professional part, you kind of summed it up well, but I'm also a very, very nervous father around a 10-year-old who behaves like a 16 right now. So it's very difficult to manage those things right now. And I'm a very humble and a proud husband of a cancer survivor. My wife was diagnosed with cancer in 2019, 2020, just around the COVID time. But she turned that around to survive that, and also is a very professional bodybuilder right now, professionally competing in bodybuilding. So I don't argue with her these days. Her muscles scare me, but that's me. And a brother and a son. This is my, apart from my professional career, this is what humbles me and this is what keeps me down. I love listening to people and I just love spending time with people, and that's, I think, where I receive my energy. So that's a little me, Tausif.
When we talk about Javeed, everyone knows Gen AI, okay, recruitment guru. I attended a few of your master classes, and this was amazing, right? How the things are changing, okay? How you can speed up the process. You can filter thousands of CVs in a day.
Yeah.
Like I didn't know that.
Right.
So thanks to you, I know something, right? So, but I want to talk about beyond that.
Yeah.
Okay. Going back, let's say 20, 30 years back, how was Javeed as a young person? Let's say when you starting your career, your first job, okay? How was that? And I have some notes here, and it says here, Bangalore 2001, fresh face, network development agent at UNDO,
Yeah.
right? Then came America Online,
Correct.
right? Customer service representative, right? How was that? How it shaped you?
So I'll take you a little more back beyond that. So I was a good uni student. Good uni student, not in the studies format, not the academia, but good uni student in terms of everything else. Like I was very focused on college fest, organizing things, and I was the teacher's pet in all of those areas. I would go to class just to keep my attendance, and I knew I just wanted to pass out of college and get through a job because I knew that is where I am going to be better. I think I was the only college student, Tausif, who actually got an experience letter from his college. My principal actually wrote an experience letter of how I good was. United Nations and America Online are very confusing career steps in my career. I was still trying to find where I'm good at and what I'm good at. Now I knew uni gave me that whole leadership, organizing, and all of those kind of understanding. But I still didn't know where to take my career and what the career was. So I started working for United Nations. Very weird job. United Nations has, you have to go around and ask people to come and join United Nations, um, and then invest in them. Very, very weird. And then America Online happened, that because United Nations was going away after 2 years of investment, and then they had no job. So I said, okay, I'll go join a call center, because everybody was working for a call center. And also then went to Philippines to set up the call center for America Online there. Very, very different approach of things. But if you look at that first two jobs, I think they lay the foundation for, I was still hungry and reflecting on what I wanted. I think I didn't find what I wanted to find in those two jobs. Yes, America Online was fine. It gave me a great foundation for my language and the way I speak these days. But I wasn't happy. And that's when IBM happened. IBM happened by a chance. I came back from Philippines, Manila. My boss was missing. I called him and I was like, "Where are you?" And he said, "I joined IBM." And I was like,
Okay.
what's wrong with you?"
Mm.
And I was like, "Why don't you come and join me as well? Let's do recruiting here." And I said, "I have no clue about what recruiting is." But the day I joined there, I think my calling was answered. I knew I was built or born to do recruiting. And I've carried that on. I've carried that on for 20 years now.
So IBM, that's changed the ways, right? And then you moved on to various other positions, and then KPMG,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That was a big part
Correct.
of your career, right?
Correct.
And now Tidy Hire,
Yeah.
strategic
I'm only
advisor,
advising them on a
advisor.
very,
Yeah.
very, yeah.
So with all these roles and projects coming, and your passion for Gen AI, and teaching recruiters, okay, how to do things in a different way, which is going to change. It's changing, by the
Yeah,
way, right?
absolutely.
How you see yourself in next, like, say, 3 to 5 years?
So, the major difference that I see from the other HR leaders and myself is, and I'm not saying they're wrong or they're not doing it differently, but what I look at it is very pragmatically. So we have this knowledge acquisition. We take a lot of knowledge. How do we get knowledge? Books, forums, networking. We do a lot of those, right, Tausif? And every time I would go to a session, I would acquire knowledge, and I'm like, okay, now that I have the knowledge, what do I do with it? Nobody in that circle is trying to teach people how to take that knowledge and make it practical on how to use it in your daily life. That is what I made my USP.
Mm.
I'm not going to tell you, yes, there is AI or then AI can do this, but I'm going to show you how it can do it. Then when people take that knowledge and use it in their daily lives, and some might work, some might not work, they come back and say, this is what's going to change my life and this is how I want to do. I think that's where I'm spending most of my time, not really to say what AI is going to do, but what really, how you can use AI in your practical lives. And I think that part is a big missing gap. Everybody talks at AI at that very high level, but nobody goes down to that execution. One of my mentors always had said this to me is, Javed, you can have dreams, you can have strategies, but they're good as nothing if you don't execute them.
Correct.
So I am only focused on that operational execution, on how this can benefit an average recruiter, HR professional. And I want to be able to go back and give them that tools and technology to help them. That is how I'm seeing it.
Mm.
Now, will I be playing with technology ever? Yes, I think that is going to be a part of our lives. Maybe not all of it, but it'll definitely be. Um, if you are in that denial mode that, oh, no, I'll wait and watch, I think that's a bad strategy at this point of time for any person, not just HR, but for anybody. So I think that is where I am spending most of the time, and that's where I think I'll be spending most of the time. Yes, I think job is going to come by. I don't think these smaller gigs are going to be good forever.
Mm.
They're good now because I wanted to take that conscious break, but a full-time job is also on the cards, and I might go back to doing that as well in the next couple of years.
Okay. Okay. So watch out, everyone. Javed is coming in a new corporate role very soon. Yeah.
Very soon happening.
Yeah, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Okay. So going back, okay, and I ask these questions to many people who comes to this platform, and everyone has a different answer. There's always a time in your life when you say, okay, I have taken this step, and I'm glad that I have done that, and it's changed my life.
Right.
What was your time and step, And when was that? That you can say, look back, was it IBM, joining the IBM, or anything else where you can say clearly, oh, I'm glad I did that and it's changed my life?
I think those kind of pivotal moments happened quite a bit in my life. I'm a very down to earth, humble, seeking validation kind of a person, and validation is not for pleasing people, but to say if I am relevant to you or if I'm giving you the relevance. So there were quite a few pivotal moments in that. One I think was very clearly, definitely me moving to Dubai. That happened in 2012. Um, I think if I would have remained in India, I would have been a very single track kind of a HR leader. But this exposure of multi diverse cultures and variance of how to do things much differently and to think differently, I think was a great pivotal life in my change of careers. Now, when I go back to India, I can do that. I can do this. So there's that opened up a lot. So that was 2012. 2012 was a milestone year. I lost my dad. I came to Dubai. I got married. There was quite a few things that happened in
Mm.
2012. But so I think that year was my pivotal year for a lot many things that changed me as a
Yeah.
version two of what I am right now. Actually,
Okay. And going back to again to generative AI, lots of people talking about, and I heard you as well in few of the master classes. People say, oh, it's gonna take our jobs. People
mm,
say, and my personal opinion is, I would say no, it can enhance the support services
absolutely
to the managers or the recruiter, but it's never going to take your job.
correct.
What you would say to the people who are still in that mindset, and they're worried and they say, oh, do I need to learn this really, or maybe I avoid it, I close my eyes, okay? What would you say?
Avoiding is going to be the
Yeah.
biggest mistake that they will do, and I think you cannot avoid it. It is glaring in our faces. It is going to change the way it is going to look at the world itself, not just HR but everything else around us is going to definitely change. So avoiding is definitely not. That's a clear way. Is it going to take our jobs away? Well, I don't think taking the jobs away is defined correctly. Now, taking the job away is doing that job 100% by the machine and then making the human redundant. I don't think that's going to ever happen. Will it reduce the team sizes of the current people in the organization? Yes. But can those people who are already there can reskill, upskill, and change their job roles? Definitely yes. So you
Mm.
need to look at how the team sizes and the amount of team people. So budgets are definitely not going to increase. CFOs are going to get more crazier by saying, how can you increase my bottom dollar and get me more profits? So there are definitely going to be times where somebody who has a team of 5 people will have to have a team of 3 people or 2 people. Now, how do you compensate that? Is through tech.
Mm.
So that 1 or 2 people who are left in your team can now do a job of maybe 6 people, 8 people, even 10 people. But if they use the technology correctly,
In a right way, yeah.
in a right way,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
And you got to solve the problem. You don't
Yeah.
have to just take something that's hyped up and use that Gen AI product in your. So what you need to do is, how can that tech solve my problem? So for an organization who's a car rental, who hires salespeople every day or engineers or drivers every day, I think you just need to have one recruiter and 4 5 AI tools to help that one recruiter,
Correct.
because your volume of that is repetitive. You're not looking at recruiting something very different every day or something, right? So you can just use tech for it. But somebody who's in the consulting business or retail business looks little differently. So industry to industry, it is going to play a change. But what I'm trying to say is, are we going to rejig our ways of people, our team sizes, and the way the organization structure of HR is? 100%. But are we going to lose jobs to machines? If you define redundancy of a human because of a machine, I don't think that's going to happen. Purely AI is enabler, productive enabler, and it's going to make you smarter and much more richer in terms in front of your stakeholders. You can look like a superhero, a
Yeah.
superhuman, and definitely keep growing with it. That's how I would like to answer that.
Yeah, correct. And I think it's a great message. It depends on the industry to industry
Correct.
and how you use it, what the nature of the business is. Like you said, if the people can upskill and reskill themselves, they will still find their way
Oh, they'll be relevant.
somewhere,
Absolutely.
right?
They will stay
But
relevant.
if you are just sitting there and thinking, no, it's nothing going to change and I'm going to survive, it's not the right way
Yeah, no, no.
to do it.
That I think those days are already gone, Tosif. I mean, I'll do my job. I'll wake up every day. I'll go to the job like I do. I don't think I want to bring something different. I think those jobs are gone. I think they don't exist anymore. Every day, everybody is being asked of what can you do different, how can you stay relevant, and how can you increase the productivity or the dollar. That's
Yeah.
I think is happening every day in every office right now.
And if you have to add a couple of apps which are really working on the recruitment side, okay, and they are enhancing your services as a manager, recruitment manager, okay, saving you time. You can filter so many people in a day. Even the AI is taking the interviews. If you can name two or three, because we can add it into the our list on this podcast.
So there are quite a few. I think every job seeker who is applying for a job needs to have mercor.com, mercor.com as one of their bookmarks. It's an amazing tool, helps you build great resumes, practice for interviews. So job seeker definitely needs to have that. I think res.ai, rezi.ai is also very good for job seekers. Now, for the normal talent acquisition or recruiters in the market, there are quite a few of those coming into the market at this point of time. I think building for sourcing, I think where you want to find beautiful candidates, there's something called People GPT or Juice Box. That's
Mm,
what they call it. There's Web3 for sure. Web3 is
yeah.
again one of the best tools that I have seen for sourcing. Again, in the interview scheduling format, there are quite a few of those coming up, but Tidy definitely, in terms of the way the agent works, is definitely going to be a game changer. But I think rather than doing all these tools multiple places, I think what HR leaders and recruiters need to go back, Tosif, is sit down, have a team meeting and an ideation meeting in their offices and identify what is the problem that they have in their organization. The problem could be sourcing, scheduling, interviewing, offer, whatever, and try to get that smaller AI help rather than just taking everything and saying, "Oh, I'll take buy everything," but maybe not solving the problem. So I've always told people, go down, go to your drawing board, do your ideation, find out what the problem is, and buy that smaller piece of technology to solve the problem rather than buying everything.
So when the HR managers, you said, okay, our recruiters have to go and sit down and talk with each other, go to the boardroom, okay, brainstorm. In your experience, how much is the actual push coming from the top management, the senior management? Are they buying that new idea? Are they willing to experiment and say to their recruiters or the operations manager, okay, go and test it and come back to me? Or it's just a hype? Because a lot of people talking, but and I know few businesses, they don't want to,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
senior management.
yeah, yeah. I know.
So in your experience, what would you say?
I think it's a two-way street for sure. Definitely, I think when I think the budget season has just got over. We just finished budgets in December. If you wouldn't have thought about tech budget at that point of time, it's going to be very difficult for you to go back and buy
Yeah.
anything right now. But that said, I think if you go back and present a business case and properly this time, an HR manager, operation manager needs to go back and do a business case and say, I have so much people, I spend so much money. I want this tech, I can do this much saving, this much profit, and this much I'll return back in 1 year, 2 year. When you go with a business proposal to your board or your CEO and a CFO, they definitely will look into it and say, okay, makes sense and doesn't make sense, right? But if you just go ahead and say, I'll buy tech, I want to tech, I want to get AI, it's not going to happen because, see, understand our region is also a very legacy region. Everybody has deals for 10 years, 5 years with maybe Oracle, Success Factors, SAP. They've already invested that money. It's not easy to just take a little more money and put it into tech as well. So there's a lot. But the good thing is, there was a survey which was done recently. 70% of the CEOs in the region are saying that they are very open to implementing AI and tech in their organizations. So at least there is that thinking process which is started, and our HR people need to capitalize because our HR people are always at the receiving end, right? I
Correct.
might hurt a few people by saying that, but we always are reactive than proactive. I think now is the time for us to use technology use GPT, prompt it really well, create that business proposal, and then go have that conversation to
Correct.
say, this is what I think I can save the money for the organization. That is the terminology we need to start using now.
And what would you say to the people who wants to start something new? Okay, entrepreneurship, or they have ideas. Maybe they were going into using all these AI apps or something, and they say, "Okay, I'm going to create something new."
Right.
But we're always afraid of
Right.
something. Okay,
Yeah.
how it's going to happen? I don't know much. I don't have confidence. The family would say something.
Yeah.
What message would you give?
See, I think staying relevant is something that I've always wanted to tell everybody. It's a very crowded market, though. If I know, in the last 2 months, I think we have seen about close to already 180 odd applications or companies start up to solve an HR tech problem. And I'm like, okay. And everybody is a guru in HR tech, right? Everybody is an HR guru.
Or they think they're
Or
good.
right. Everybody is building or solving
Yeah.
a problem in HR or talent acquisition. So, and I'm like, and I was talking to a few founders, is they've already gone ahead with the solving of the problem. But I'm sitting and listening to their pitch, and I'm like, maybe this is not relevant for us. So I think what the founders and the startup people, or whoever is thinking of solving a problem through tech, is get together, ideate, and bounce those ideas off in a very different format. Invite 10, 15 people together for a pizza. Simple. People will come for social gatherings. People will come for a social invite. Don't think of it as a sales pitch. Don't think this as a business proposal. Just tell them, listen, I've got an idea. I want to bounce it off. Take your feedback. And people will come to give you feedback. So bounce that idea. Tell them how you're solving. 10 different people will give you 10 different ways of thinking it, how to solve that problem, and see if you're on the right track, and then start solving that tech problem. But what is happening is people are building the tech and then saying, Javed, can you use it? And I'm like, I don't have the problem to use right now. If you would have given me something to help me with my onboarding, maybe I would have, because my team is very good at scheduling and sourcing. But somebody else in an organization might need that tech, so I will refer that person. But you need to ideate. You need to get not just your team, the end user, and the middleman who basically is solving the talent acquisition or the HR problem. Get all of them in. At the end of the day, the recruiters are who are going to use it. Tausif, we all have ATSs. You know what I call ATSs in our organizations? Graveyard for resumes. Because resumes come and they die.
True.
Nobody looks at it. Nobody responds to it. Nobody does anything with it. Why does this happen with us? Is because the ATS wasn't built for us. ATS was built for tracking and so on and so forth, right? It was really not built for solving a recruiting problem. Now that with all this AI, there is that APIs are getting added, and it is helping us use the ATS in much better ways. So I see a lot of work happening.
Yeah, I always said this. There's a lot of good CVs goes out because of the ATS.
I agree.
Right? And people don't understand that.
Yeah.
Okay, that's great.
I 100% agree.
Javed, great message, great conversation. Thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate. I know you're busy. Thank you, and my audience will see you in our next episode.
Inshallah. Thank you very much for having Tausif.
Thank you.
One message, going away message is, create friction, and through friction, that value will come. People always say, okay, I'll listen to my boss and go away, or I'll listen to my manager and go away. But just listening and going away does not create value. If you create a friction there by asking questions, checking for understanding, or even challenging if something that you don't like, create that friction and create that value, I think you will also keep learning and you will also keep growing. So that's my go away message.
Great. Much appreciated.
Right. Thank you very much, Tausif.
Thank you.